Hello. Am I on? Can you hear me? Yay. So I'm going to start off by talking a little bit about some baby handling, some picking up babies and how to hold them and carry them. So I did bring a few babies along with me. I see you guys brought a baby with you, so that's great. Did anybody else bring a... You guys have all still got yours in storage. So I do need some volunteers to maybe have a little practice with these babies in the audience. And whilst you're not volunteering right now, I'll just mention that there are prizes for volunteers. So does anybody want to be a little volunteer? Yay! Oh, good. And, and you guys, dads, dads can volunteer as well. So I've got I've called my baby Olivia. I think that's number one name for 2015. So I've got Olivia here. You can call them what you like. Um, and what I'm going to start with is talking a little bit about tummy time. So we know that babies need to spend some time on their tummy because it's the first step of their physical development, developing a little bit of head and neck strength. So, but of course, babies sleep on their back. So we know that with this, the SID safe sleeping, that babies go to sleep on their back. But perhaps in playtime, we want them to have some time on their tummy. Now, newborn babies don't generally do too much in the way of playtime. They tend to fill their playtime with feed time, burp time, nappy change time, bath time, a little bit of cry time. So we need to incorporate that play time into the other activities that we're doing with our baby to help their physical development. So we know that tummy time, developing a little bit of that head and neck strength is the first step in being able to roll over, being able to sit up, being able to crawl, and being able to pull themselves up to standing and start walking. So we want to start with that good first little building block. So if you put a newborn down on their tummy, during their playtime, they'll probably just snuggle off to sleep, which we don't really want them sleeping on their tum. And so we find some other ways to get our babies to have that tummy time. So one of the really popular ways is to pop your bubby up over your shoulder. So I'll pop Olivia up over my shoulder, but you guys can, have you got some names for your bubbies yet? So if you pop them up over your shoulder, particularly with their little arms up there as well, what you'll see your newborn baby do is lift their head up, give it a little wobble around, and then pop it back down again. So babies quite like this position. It's a good position for burping and winding and holding as well. And this is often a popular one with dads because slightly broader shoulder, often babies prop up there quite nicely as well. Another version that is great for, and often this is the position that babies are in very soon after they're born, is down on your chest. So having them down in this position where they're on their chest, and if you pop their little arms up, it's easier for them to lift their head up as well. But this becomes a popular position for watching telly. I mean, not that the babies are watching TV, but if the grown-ups are maybe watching some telly, you've got bubby on your chest, it's a nice position to hold them in and while you're reclining on the chair. So this is a nice option for that tummy time as well. My personal favourite for the tummy time is to get your bubby over your arm. So you guys with your test subjects, and I'll pop Olivia with her back against my tummy. But if you reach over them like you're putting a little seatbelt on, and then turn them over, they're on their tummy. So can you see that? So I had her against me, reached over like I'm putting a little seatbelt on, and having it over onto her tummy. And so this is a great position. So you can hold them between the legs around their nappy or around their little legs. But this is a nice position because it leaves this hand free. So that's quite handy if you're trying to open the front door, or you're trying to check something on your phone, or you're trying to hold your book or your cup of tea or whatever it is that you're trying to hold. So this is a really great way to give babies a little bit of time on their tummy. Babies tend to like it too because they've got a little bit of pressure from your arm up against their tum. And you can also hold them nice and firm against you. So they're nicely stretched out and you're holding them nice and firm up against you, and it's another position that you could give them a little pat on the back as well. And it also encourages them to look out to this side. So we want bubbies to look both to the left side and to their right side, so that they develop nice even strength in both sides of their neck. And and so we can swap her, Olivia, over to the other side. So you can pop your arm across the middle and pop them over onto this side, and then she likes looking out that way. Ah, Bubby. um, so this is also important because we know that some babies develop a positional preference where they like to look one side and not look to the other side as much, and that can lead to something that we call plagiocephaly, which is a little flattening on the side of the back of their head. So you'll see a lot of babies have a bit of a bald spot on the back of their head in the middle. That's very normal for babies that sleep on their back. But having a flattened spot that's a little bit more on one side than the other, we call plagiocephaly, and that's something that we want to try and avoid with our babies. And that comes from them developing a preference to looking one side more so than the other side. So if you hold them in these positions where they're developing that neck and back strength, and they're also being encouraged to look to the left or look to the right, then that's a nice way of preventing them developing that plagiocephaly. So another thing that can help with the plagiocephaly is the position that you've got them in their cot. So, in hospital, babies are in their little cribs beside your bed, and of course mums and dads all like to see what the baby's face is doing. So when babies are lying on their back, newborn babies, they tend to flop their head over to one side or the other. Now, if you always have the cot on exactly the same side and you're always in the bed on exactly the same side, then you'll always have them looking towards you exactly the same way. It's easy enough, but to turn those little cots in the hospital around because they're on wheels, or once you get home, to make baby up in the other end of the bed. So you can pop them in the other end of the bed. So maybe every time you change the sheets, you change it to the other direction, or daytime sleeps, they're facing one way, nighttime sleeps, they're facing the other way. And then also thinking about things that you can put to stimulate their interest to look at things on both the left side and the right side. So often babies like to look at, or my kids certainly, ceiling fans, fluoro lights. They like to look out windows, so often that change of light and dark is really nice for babies to look at. So if you notice what their preference is, or whenever I come in to get them out of bed during the day, they're looking at where the light's flickering in on their side of the blind, then be conscious to put them that way. So they're not usually as organised as to be looking towards the door waiting for you to arrive. They often like to look at something else. I think mine certainly had a love affair with the ceiling fan, and so popping them where they're looking left some of the time and right some of the time is a great way of encouraging that. Does anybody have any questions about that tummy time for your newborn? So for your tiny little newborn. So that all makes sense to everyone. The other thing, I'll just pop out a little blanket. So once they're 2 or 3 weeks old, then you can try them down on their tummy to give them a little chance of having that tummy time. So you can roll up a little blanket, popping it down on the floor or on the change mat, and then you can pop Bubby over the blanket with their little arms in front, and they can prop themselves up and enjoy that tummy time. They've developed a little bit of head strength from being up over your shoulder, over your arm, or against your chest. And then if we pop them into this position, Olivia's not that, she's only quite new, so she's not that good at lifting her head up and having a look around, then this is a nice position. So if we think of ourselves, so you pregnant ladies aren't lying on your tummy at the moment, but if you were to lie down on your tummy with your arms by your side, it's very hard to lift your head up. If you lie on your tummy with a little support under your chest, like a little pillow, and your arms in front of you, it's actually quite easy to lift up your head. So we'll make it a little bit easier for them to do that. So a little nappy rug or blanket or nappy can be quite nice underneath their chest. So you can start it from when they start to seem to be able to hold their head up for a few seconds before they let it back down again. So fairly early. So by 6 weeks, we'd expect that babies would actually be quite good on their tummy, be able to lift their head up and have a good little look around. So from that 2 or 3, once you get over your initial shell shock, not completely over the shell shock, but just over your initial shell shock, then that's a nice time to pop them down on their tum. And you might find that they last for half a minute or a minute, and it'll go on to being 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And it's a really nice position for babies to have playtime on the floor. So when you're putting them down on the floor, they're awake, then popping them down into that tummy position is a really nice position for them to learn how to lift themselves up. But as I said, those newborns aren't that good with the playtime. So once they're getting more into having those awake periods, then that tummy time is really nice for their development. So I'll just leave Olivia there for a sec. I'm going to go on to talking a little bit about baby massage and things that you can do to stimulate babies' sensory development as well. But before we do, I'm going to talk a little bit about to the mums and dads. So I'm going to get you to do a little bit of a stretch. So I'm going to get you to roll your shoulders over. So you've been sitting here for a little while. Nice. So it's important to make sure we think of ourselves while we're looking after our bubbies. One thing I notice in my work at the Mater Mothers is that pregnant ladies and their partners take very good care of themselves. As soon as the baby comes out, all the attention goes to the little person, and you don't focus on yourself nearly as much as you do during pregnancy. So it's important for mums to continue to look after yourselves. So I'm going to get you to come a little bit forward on the chair, all of you, mums and dads and grannies, and sit up nice and tall so that you're sitting on your sitting bones. And then I'm going to get you to rest back down onto your tailbone, and then up onto your sitting bone again, and down onto your tailbone. So those of you with bigger bumps will find that you don't have much room there. You're not getting too much range through that middle section. But a little bit of that pelvic tilting is a nice way to get a little bit of movement through that low part of your back. Now I'm going to get you to wiggle your bottom back into the back of the chair. So I'm not sure how these chairs look like they're actually pretty comfy. So if you get your bottom all the way back into the chair, so you're sitting on your sitting bones, you're sitting a little bit taller, you're naturally turning your core muscles on, which is great, and you're saving your backs a little bit. So this is something particularly to think about when it comes to feeding your babies, because when you're feeding your bub, you're in that one position for quite a period of time. So it's good to have that nice posture or nice position for feeding your bub, just to continue to look after you. So often I'll go around and see mums and they'll be feeding their bub and they'll be all curled up. They've got bubby doing just the right thing, but they haven't been taking very good care of themselves. But unfortunately, very poor sick leave arrangements for mums. So if you hurt your back, you have to continue on. So we want to start off by getting yourself up nice and tall, get bubby into a good position, and then going from there. Now we're going to do a little bit of baby massage. So I'll get you to get your test babies into a position where you could do a massage. So it's a tricky one. We're going to start. Well, I'm going to start with Olivia on her back. Now your laps are probably not quite big enough to totally fit bubby lengthwise on your lap, but you can put them across your lap. And dads can have a little go at massage too if they'd like. And really the reason we talk about massage, and there's probably not really firm rules about how you need to do it, but it's a very great, it's a lovely way for bonding. It's a nice habit to get into, and if it's a time that you and your baby can spend together and enjoy that time, then it's something that they will associate with being relaxed and being calm, and then you can use it at times when they're feeling a little bit more fractious to bring that massage in. So it's not something to start initially when they're upset, but if you notice that they're awake, alert, then that's a beautiful time to try some massage. So a nice warm spot. Clothes off is better. We'll keep these guys with their clothes on, but because it's a public place. And you can start with just some nice firm hand contact. So just touching around their little faces. So babies often love that. Nice firm touch. So not firm pressure, but all of your hand touching them. So little strokes across their body. So if you're coming from the tops of their shoulders across their little body, you guys are doing a lovely job with your massage. Across their bodies, quite nice. They even like that little stroking up their arms, and even a little play with their hands. These not quite the same as the real thing. A little play with their feet. And then you can also pop Bubby over onto their tummy. So I'll pop Olivia over onto her tum. Oh, Olivia. And again, some nice massage. So this could be something that you could do after a bath, if they're enjoying their bath, or just find a nice sunny spot in your house, and they can have a little bit of bit of clothes off time and enjoy a little bit of time together. So it's fairly easy and straightforward. It's probably just something that you and Bubby can work out between yourselves in what you like to do. Yeah, so you're just asking if it's something that you do at tummy time, and that's an excellent question. It's a perfect time to do it because they'll enjoy that stimulation, so they might enjoy having that time on their tummy. And I think sometimes tummy time can be a good thing to do. After a bath or while you're changing their nappy as well, to just pop them on the change mat for a couple of moments while you give the bottom a little rub, while you're getting the nappy ready to pop out again. So does that make sense to everybody? Yep. Does anybody have any other questions they wanted to ask? The MARTA does have a lot of online information as well, and there's some information on baby handling and baby development on the MARTA website, and in fact it's on YouTube as well. So if you put into YouTube search MARTA mothers baby handling, you'll come up with a video with a real baby doing some of the things that we've talked about today. So you have been a wonderful audience. I'm going to be over at the MARTA Mothers stand, which is in the second last aisle over this way for the next 45 minutes or so. So if you want to come and ask some questions, you can. And thank you very much. We might give a little clap to our lovely, brave volunteers. Thank you.